Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new video here on the second channel. And despite Obsidian Flames being out, that isn't going to stop us from getting new cards revealed in future new sets. That is going to be new cards from our next set, Paradox Rift, which will be coming out in November. And of course, that is a bit of a ways away, but we do have 151 coming out. But we did get some new EX revealed, including a new Garchomp EX, which I've been waiting for a rule box Garchomp card to come out. So we finally got him on. We got a new Frostlast EX2, some new tools, a really interesting new set of cards to take a look at here, and I'm excited to take a look at them, because I'm excited for Raging Surf. I'm sure over the coming weeks we're going to see more reveals. We might even see a new mechanic get revealed at the World Championships on Sunday. Pretty good chance that might happen. So definitely keep your eye out for that here. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Without further ado, let's take a look at some new cards. So the first thing is going to be the Garchomp. So Garchomp has always had pretty good cards in the past, or at least very playable cards. Now, we did get a new Garchomp here. It is a water-type Pokemon. It is not a dragon-type Pokemon. It's a water-type Garchomp. And we're finally getting a new Garchomp card, and we're also getting a rule box Garchomp. I don't know why we never got a Garchomp V-Star, considering that Garchomp is one of the most iconic Pokemon from Gen 4, and it's literally like the final boss in the game. So I don't know why they didn't give us a Garchomp V-Star. It makes no sense, but they're making up for it and giving us a Garchomp EX. It is a water Pokemon, so keep in mind, being a water type does give you a few advantages. There's not that much fire going on around right now, though. I mean, I guess the new 151 Charizard EX will be used, but Garchomp doesn't really hit much for weakness. It also needs fighting energy for one of its attacks, so it's actually got some pretty good attacks. So the first attack, Hydrolander, for 1 fighting energy, does 160 damage, and then attach it to 3 fighting energy from discard pile to your bench Pokemon in any way. Like, that is really good. This attack reminds me very heavily of Mega Manectric EX from way back in the day. That's like the first thing I thought of when I saw this attack, because being able to accelerate energy into play on the bench from your discard pile, very reminiscent of Mega Manectric. I actually really like that. That's actually really strong. I mean, getting fight energy into play isn't bad. There are some decent Pokemon to pair Garchomp with. Obviously, you can play with something like Tinglu, Koraidon, or any Pokemon. It doesn't have to just be a fighting Pokemon, but yeah, it's actually really good. Being able to put energy from your discard pile into play is nice. Garchomp does do a decent bit of damage. I mean, 160 for 1 energy isn't bad at all. And it also has a free retreat cost, so it does have some cool synergy. And the other attack, Sonic Dive, for 2 colorless energy, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon, and this attack does 120 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Very reminiscent of the Garchomp Level X that did very similar things where it sniped for, it was like 80 damage, which back in the day was actually really good. Nowadays, sniping for 120, it's okay. It's not bad. Unfortunately, Manaphy does exist. Obviously, I think the main selling point of Garchomp EX is going to be that first attack, Hydrolander. I think the second attack is cute. I mean, there are going to be decks out there that don't play Manaphy. I mean, not every deck in the meta will play Manaphy. And even if they do, you can knock Manaphy out and then use Sonic Dive. 120 snipe, I mean, you're not knocking that much stuff out. I mean, you're knocking out, like, Pokemon like Ralts and Kirlias and Comfeys and Sableyes and Cramorant, but you're not really knocking out, you know, that many other support Pokemon. You're not knocking out Squawkabilly. I mean, back in the day, when we had Shaman EX in the format, 120 Snipe was really good against Shaman, but now it's not so good. Honestly, it's not a bad attack. I mean, against, again, decks that don't play Manaphy, if you're, you know, two-shotting them with Hydrolander in a Sonic Dive, that's not bad, especially against something like an Arceus V-Star, which most Arceus decks do not play Manaphy. So, honestly, this card isn't that bad. It is maybe not the greatest card we could have seen for Garchomp, but honestly, it's playable. It's got a free retreat, 320 HP, makes it kind of bulky. It's got 2 attacks that aren't even that bad. You know, I think Garchomp is decent, and I'm finally happy we got a brand new Garchomp. This makes up for them not giving us a Garchomp V-Star. Then we got a Frostlast, and this is another very weird card to see get an EX, but this is a Grass-type Frostlast. Now, another Gen 4 Pokemon getting an EX. DP remakes confirmed. Now, it does have the ability just out of reach. When this Pokemon is in the active spot and is knocked out, flip a coin of heads. Your opponent takes 1 less prize for that knockout. So, an interesting ability. We've seen a Frostlast before. I think it's from Legendary Treasures or Generations. It's from back in the day, but there's an old Frostlast. Now, when it gets knocked out, you flip a coin of heads. The attacking Pokemon is also knocked out. I thought that's what this was. When I first read this, I'm like, oh no, very pretty feigning spell. I'm pretty sure there's a... There's a Pokemon in the format with the same ability, I'm pretty sure. But either way, this ability isn't terrible. Only giving up one prize card isn't bad either. I mean, it's not, you're not threatening a knockout on the attacking Pokemon. You're not giving up any prize. You're just only, giving up one less prize, which actually isn't that bad. Again, then Frostlast only gives up a single prize for getting KO'd, which isn't bad at all. Unfortunately, its attack is a little underwhelming. It's got Frost Bullet for 2 water energy, does 140 damage. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So 140 for 2 is pretty mid. I mean, yeah, you are a grass type, so you are going to be able to hit for weakness against Charizard EX, but you're not even one-shotting Charizard because you're only doing 140, so you're only doing 280. So, I don't know, man. Frostlast could have had a little bit more potential. I do think that the ability is good enough to maybe build something around this card, but I don't think it's the greatest card we could have got, unfortunately. The attack is just underwhelming. And there's also, again, Manaphy in the format, so the 20 damage is basically always going to be useless. So you're just doing 140 for 2 energy and then hoping that it doesn't give up 2 prizes. But, I don't know, it's a cool card, and, Frostlast, it's cool. So we'll have to see where this card goes. Next up, we got a new Groudon here. I think there might be a Groudon EX in the set, too, because you saw in the pack artwork there was a Groudon. And I don't think this was the Groudon that was on the pack artwork. So it's got 2 attacks. We got Overflowing Power for 1 energy, touch-based fight energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. It's not bad. And then you got Magma Purge for 2 fighting and a colorless, does 60 damage. You may discard up to 4 energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage for each card discarded in this way. So that ain't bad. I mean, obviously, it's very similar to Xianpao EX. And you don't have unlimited damage, unfortunately. You are capped at 240 damage, but not a bad attack. This could actually be decent with the Garchomp EX. I mean, you got some synergy there with Garchomp, right? You can go Garchomp into Groudon. Cool concept. So, I don't know. Groudon's kind of cool. Not a bad single prize attacker at all. I think it's better than the other option we have right now in the format being the Celebrations Groudon. So, I think this Groudon's fine. Again, it could see play with Garchomp EX. Then the next big story is the new Technical Machine tool cards. Now, I don't know if we've ever seen tools like this. The closest thing we've seen, I think, might have been, like, the memory. No, we've seen, like, the Z tool cards. That they were kind of similar. So, basically, Technical Machines are tools, and they give you an extra attack, effectively. Attach this card to one of your Pokemon and play that Pokemon. Muse this card's attack instead of its own. Discard this card at the end of your turn. So, the downside is you don't get to keep them on for the entirety of, until they get discarded or you get KO'd. You have to discard it after your turn is over. So, that's not great, but if the effects make up for it, it's fine. So we got Energy Turbo for 1 colorless energy. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy. Attach them to your bench Pokemon any way you like. So it's a mini Trinity charge. Now, it's not bad. If you go second, this actually does seem valuable because you can go second, attach this tool, and then you get to get energy in play. So going second, this is actually not a bad tool card. Going first, this, unfortunately, for most of the game will be useless. This is really just only going to be good if you go second. Yeah, it's very similar to Trinity Charge. Again, mainly it'll just be good if you just end up going second. It is a cool effect, though. And again, going second is not bad. You can play Arven. You can like Arven for this, I guess, which could be kind of a cool way to find it and then get energy on and then do the attack, build up something on the bench. And you kind of build up your board a little bit, so it's really not that bad. The next Technical Machine is Sneak Attack here. Attach this card to one of your Pokemon in play. That Pokemon may use the card's attack discard at the end of your turn, and then the effect, once again, you have to discard at the end of your turn, just in case you were wondering if they were limited. You got Sneak Attack for 3 colorless energy, does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon with any damage counters on it. That's not bad. 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon with any damage on it does at the very least mean you're going to snipe for 110 damage in total. So you can combine this with Radiant Alakazam, you can combine it with Hawlucha. I'm pretty sure Manaphy does block the effect of this attack, though, which kind of sucks, but having a built-in snipe is kind of cool. I mean, there's a tool in the format that now lets you have a bench snipe effect, which is actually kind of valuable in all honesty. Like, that's not bad to have. Having a tool in the format that gives you bench snipe is actually pretty impressive and pretty good, to be honest, because, I mean, most tools, again, it's just mostly either damage output or, getting KO'd then something happens. That's mostly what tools have been for recently, but having a tool that lets you have a snipe attack is pretty good. So that kind of changes the way tools are going to be played. Like, this could be a tool you could play in any deck because it's just that good. I mean, any deck could play this, right? It doesn't say it's limited to, like, rule boxes or anything, and I'm sure, of course, you can use this. Right, I'm pretty sure you can use this with, like, Gardevoir, Arceus V-Star, like any deck that can put 3 energy into play in a single turn. this actually is a decent card. So I kind of like it. Again, being able to snipe for 100 on a tool isn't bad. It's just a different way to kind of play a tool card now, instead of just having like the generic Choice Belt or, Forest Seal Stone or Box of Disaster. And we got a couple new supporters here. We got Rika. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 of them in your hand, and then shuffle the other 2 to the bottom of your deck. So, I mean, it's alright. It's kind of like a mini Colress's Experiment, except you don't Lost Zone the cards. This could be decent for like a stage 2 deck, right? Because you're able to build up your hand, but I don't know. I feel like Colress is just a better Rika, right? Because Colress gets you 3, and then the other 2 you Lost Zone, which I think is more valuable than returning them. Because like, what if you do this with like Battle VIP Pass or something, and it's like, well, I don't want the Battle VIPs. If only this was a Colress's Experiment. So I'm not sold on Rika. I don't think Rika's that good. I've heard some people say that it's decent. I don't think it is. Maybe when Colress rotates, this card might actually be good if we don't get any other good supporters by then. But I don't think Rika's that good. I think Colress is just a better card all around. Then we got Larry. Flip a coin if head, search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, and put them in your hand. If tails, search deck for a basic Pokemon in your hand. So that's a pretty good supporter effect. It's not a bad card. Now, this is probably going to be pretty solid within Lugia, though we do already have Professor Burnett, but Burnett will rotate, so maybe when Burnett rotates out of the format, Larry could see play. It is very flippy reliant. Obviously, you got to get double heads, but if you get 2 heads, getting 2 Pokemon out of your deck for free is kind of cool, honestly. I actually don't hate the effect. I think this card is semi-decent. Is it the greatest card ever? Not really, but it's a cool effect that it could work in niche decks again, like Lugia. And I mean, just getting a basic isn't the worst thing either. Like, if you get tails, it's annoying, but it's not bad. But if you get heads, you get 2 Pokemon right off the bat. So, I don't know. It's definitely a bit of a kind of a hit-or-miss card, but I don't know. I think Larry might be better than Rika, to be honest. That's my hot take of the day. But that's basically it for the new cards that got revealed. Again, over the weekend, we might see more new cards get revealed, which I'm excited for. But yeah, we finally got a new Garchomp, which I'm excited for. And yeah, you can see on the pack artwork here, it looks like we're going to get a Groudon EX. So there's the Terra Garchomp. There's Jirachi, there's Coco, and there's a Pokemon I cannot remember that Pokemon's name. I know it's really good in the video game, in the VGC, but in the competitive, but I don't remember that Pokemon's name. But that's basically what we're getting in the set. I'm imagining these are all going to be EX Pokemon, so that's probably what we got. But I'm excited. The set's going to release on September 22nd, so again, we're most likely going to see a lot of these new cards get revealed over the course of the week, and I'm excited. But yeah. That'll be it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, of course, subscribe down below and all that good stuff. I'm going to be streaming a lot of Obsidian Flames content over on Twitch, so make sure to go follow my Twitch down below if you haven't already. And if you're going to get any Obsidian Flames codes, use Card Cavern and use code LDF at the checkout. And all right, and check out the podcast too. An episode just came out today also. A lot of stuff going on today, a lot of stuff on the plate, but I'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.